Anderson Silva did not win that fight. Not even close. Give him maybe one round. Probably 30-27 Brunson.
Really?
New York fucked up. And I tweeted this out. If I was a contender, like say I'm Tony Ferguson, Khabib, Conor, someone with a huge, like where a lot's riding on it, DC, Rumble,
You're not
enjoy
fighting
that.
in New York.
No way. I'm like, no, I just can't. Until they get more advanced, until they catch up with the game, there's no way. And then nothing's worse than someone goes, I can't leave it up to the judges. The fuck are you talking about? That's like saying the NFL you can't plan to win the game in the fourth quarter. Should have done the first.
Can't lose
three.
by just a point. Can't win by just a point. It might.
Isn't
go
that
the other
weird?
way.
It's like, well, but that's the game.
Yeah.
That is part of the game.
Of course.
The refs and the judges. This is our game.
Sometimes you win by a nose hair, but you know.
But you should be able to. The judges, you should be able to hold accountable. Nothing happened. They go, well, all right, we fucked them. See ya. We're huge Anderson Silva fans. Sorry.
Right.
What?
Right.
My entire career was banking on that, man. Sorry, man. How crazy is that?
I thought Anderson was going to retire in a dramatic fashion. But
Nope.
He just
Probably gets a title shot next.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough.
Probably fights Bisping next for a title shot.
The rematch. Interesting. Well, enjoy the guys waiting in the wings.
They're not even worried about that. He'll retire after that.
Yeah.
They don't care about that.
Crazy,
right?
Champion. Yes.
Yeah. And the whole card, you know, I looked at the matchups and I was hard on the card saying how shitty it is for a long time. I looked at them like, it's actually fun matchups. Probably one of the worst cards we've had in a long, long time.
Well,
from no finishes to bad matchups to huge favorites to bad fights to horrible reffing to bad judging.
I thought it was interesting that the minute Jacare got on top of, like, didn't even just took down.
That's how that goes down.
Tarek got up and goes, it's over. And I was like, what do you mean? Bosch could fight to his feet or something. No, not with Jacare. Not when he's on top of you. It's done.
It's a stupid fight. It's just a stupid fight. It's a toss up. It's like
my feeling. I swear to God, and I might take heat for this, but when I see Anderson Silva and I see the sort of the age, the hand of time on him a little bit at 40.
Talking about that with this, powerful dad bod
with this USADA testing. I want to see, and I'm being serious about this. I want to see a guy like Anderson Silva at 41 juiced, at least to the point where his body is responding the way it used to. And if that means taking some testosterone and human growth, for me, I want to see that guy fighting again at that level.
It'll prolong his career for sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're going to take
and exciting, and I think that's an exemption. I think he should be allowed to do that. And they used to have it, right? I mean, your testosterone was a certain level or whatever. You were able to at least balance it out. But
where do you stop that at?
That would be the debate.
Because you can't say, all right, Anderson, you can do it. And then what happens? Let's say I return to fighting.
Yeah.
And I go, well, I need to do it.
I'll tell you what I would do. I think I would do it this way. And I bet you there's a metric for this. And it would probably be up for some scientific debate. But let's just say if your testosterone levels as an athlete are consistently below X, whether it's 500 or, I think there's free testosterone. I don't know enough about it.
It's 300 to 1,000 male testosterone.
So I'm sure that there's a way to come up with sort of a golden mean, right? A sort of a mean
where everyone can get there.
Yeah, where if you're 200, if you're down to 200, 150, well, and for a lot of reasons, you might be overtrained, you might be older. There's a lot of things that happen to an athlete. Head trauma. Let them get their testosterone
to 750.
Yeah, or something
everyone
like that.
Everyone can come in at 750.
Yeah, I feel that would be. I really feel that would be pretty.
This is the problem with that theory, and I'm not against it. The issue is the night of the fight, I can show up at my level at 750. During camp, I can have my level at 3,000, so I'm fucking jacked.
Right.
And then I tailor it just enough to be under the limit the night I fight.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wheel kick your eye
Which
out.
I'm sure was happening. Yeah.
That's what's happening. That's what guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too tricky of open door. Either you got to say, all right, all PEDs are legal, like like baseball did for a while.
Right.
Where remember baseball was in the fucking can, and then they just turned a blind eye and were like, oh, guys are doing stuff crazy, and then homers are, and baseball's back, and they're like, oh, you guys did that? That's ridiculous. We're cracking down on it now. Like the UFC could do that.
Sure. Could you do it like where you can't get your testosterone over a certain part? Like you can't.
You have to check guys every day.
Yeah.
Just every day.
It's very tough.
Let me know how expensive that gets.
Very tough. I guess you have to have a blanket
It's just not worth it for
standard.
them. It's not worth it for the UFC.
I think it makes for more exciting fights. I think you'd have a much better Anderson, and we would
Still
love it
41
as fans.
You also Anderson, even at 41 with TRT, is not Anderson Silva in his mid-30s. It's just not.
Just ain't.
No, you look at Arnold. He's jacked on TRT. Does he look like Arnold in his 30s? I mean, no.
Yeah.
Father Time doesn't give a
Father
fuck how
Time.
much you pump in your body.
Father Time doesn't
it
care.
just doesn't. Because TRT is not going to really help your reaction time, your
Right.
quickness, the brain trauma he suffered,
Yeah.
all the injuries he's accumulated over the years.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it. I'm not opposed to saying certain guys get TRT exemptions, but if you're going to do that, I mean, you're getting ready to open up the floodgates.
Especially if you've been doing it your whole career, even if it's in micro doses, and then you stop. A lot of times, what happens is your body has a very hard time, kind of producing its own testosterone.
Yeah, but there's ways to ways to recoup that and recovery drugs, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. But it's all Anderson's 41. You just got to chalk it up. Maybe you shouldn't be fighting anymore. But then he goes, probably fighting for a title shot, bitch. What are you talking about? I'm about to get paid. So.
You think they'll give him Bisping?
Yes.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
And is it right? No. Is it fair? No. Do I want to see it? Not really. Is that what's going to happen? Probably. Because the WME, IMG, all they care about is ratings.
Yeah.
You think Yoel's a panty dropper in the ratings? Mm-mm. You think Jacque's? Mm-mm.
God.
Anderson
It's becoming
is,
like
though.
acting, man. I'm serious. Where they go, you have a number attached to you. What kind of a draw are you?
Yeah, but act, at least you know, those guys are a draw. That makes sense. Because you're pretending.
Well, but I'm
In
saying
UFC, it's, I mean.
Well, no, I mean, UFC, though, we know who should get a title shot based on merit, based on fight and ability. And yet you've got a bunch of agents and people like that in Hollywood saying, well, what's going to make our bottom line better? How can we stack the cards so we're getting more views? And I understand
They're going to realize that
it kind of taints the sport.
Well, because they go, look, UFC 208, we kind of, made some matchups that we thought were fun. I'm sure the ratings are going to be it's record breaking.
It's like saying
the gate was because New York doesn't get high level MMA and probably shouldn't be getting MMA right now. But as far as pay per view number wise, I can't imagine it doing well. I mean, it's going to do decent. UFC always does good, but it's not going to knock your dick into the dirt.